From New York, here is I've Got a Secret, starring Steve Allen.
Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome, of course, to another edition of I've Got a Secret. Now that we've met our special guest for the evening, Mr. Soupy Sales, it's time to meet the members of our panel, who are, of course, Betsy Palmer, who incidentally will be appearing in Phoenix, Arizona next week in the play Mary Mary, and Bill Cullen, who will not, and Bess Meyerson, who probably will pretty soon, too, and Henry Morgan, who could at any moment. There they are. Now, may we have our first contestant, please? Nice to have you with us. Panel, for the time being, we're going to just identify this gentleman as Mr. X. Now, before we get to your secret, sir, we want to clarify something that might otherwise confuse the panel. May I ask you how you come to have these bandages on your hands?
Just about a week ago, before I came out here, I fell through a plate glass window and I cut my tendons behind my hands.
And the point is, it has nothing to do with the secret panel. We want to make that clear to you. Now, Mr. X, will you whisper your secret to me, and we'll show it at that same time to our audience. My congratulations to those of the audience, sir. The clue panel concerns something that Mr. X did, obviously. It's not much of a clue, I guess, but we'll start the game anyway with Henry Morgan.
Lieutenant, did you do this in connection with a service?
Yes, sir.
You have wings there. I can't see the center of the wings. Are you a command pilot? No, it wouldn't be. Is it plane pilot or what?
Yes, sir.
Were you flying at the time this happened?
He was flying in connection with what happened, yes.
Oh, you weren't in a plane, though, for this secret?
No, sir.
Uh-huh. Were you overseas at the time it happened?
Yes, sir.
Were you in the war area, in the immediate area?
Yes, sir.
And you were on the ground?
That's correct, sir.
Good start, Henry. $20 down. Betsy?
Lieutenant, are there any other people involved with what you did with your secret?
Not directly.
Not directly.
Others were involved in the incident, but only he has mentioned
Were
the secret.
there civilians involved in the incident?
No.
Just men of the Navy were involved?
No.
Men of the Navy weren't involved. Did this have to do with your being in the Navy?
Yes.
$40 down. Bill Cullen.
Are you a helicopter pilot, Lieutenant?
No, sir.
Regular, heavier than aircraft?
Yes, sir.
And I noticed, too, that you have a Purple Heart. Did you receive that in connection with your secret?
Yes, sir.
Did it have to do with a rescue mission?
No, sir.
In the broad sense of the word. It had to do with your being injured in action against the enemy.
That's correct, sir.
You said, did it have to do with other members of the service, like either Marines or Army men?
Yes, sir.
Yes, they were concerned. $60 down. Bess Meyerson?
Steve, you look so puzzled.
I do?
Yes.
Steve always looks that way.
I just made out my income tax, that's all. It's nothing to do with the secret.
You look as puzzled as I feel. Lieutenant, were you, I don't know whether it's been established or not, but were you in action at the time?
Yes, I was.
Now, were you in enemy territory?
Yes.
Were you responsible for saving anyone?
There is a sense in which we have to say yes to that.
Yourself?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Were you almost captured? Were you?
Yes.
Were you a prisoner?
Oh, there we go.
Oh. Did you escape from a prison camp? And you waved?
Now I'd like to officially introduce Lieutenant Dieter Dengler, who is the only Navy pilot ever to escape from a communist prison camp after being shot down over in North Vietnam. Lieutenant Dengler, many of us, of course, have read the details of your miraculous escape, and miraculous is a pretty fair word, too, because I understand that in the entire Vietnamese War, there have only been 2 other Americans, aside from yourself, who have been able to escape from an enemy prison camp. The main reason is that the jungles make it just about impossible. How many missions had you flown in Vietnam before you were shot down?
I had flown 21 missions in that particular month.
In 1 month? My goodness. Now, were you taken immediately to a prison camp when you were captured?
No, I was able to get away for a day, and then next day I was captured.
Where did you land when you crashed down?
I was shot down over North Vietnam, and I crashed in Laos.
I see. And then you were taken along through the jungle to the camp. I understand that you made one unsuccessful attempt to escape. What happened then? When was that? After I was captured, I was walked for 14 days to the camp. And on the 11th day, I was able to get away at night, steal a mirror and get away. And then next day I was got away, and then in the evening they caught me in a water hole. They caught you.
Yes,
brought
sir.
you back. How long had you been in the camp then before you were able to carry out the plans for your successful escape?
I had been there about 5 months.
And why did you have to wait so long to try it again?
Well, during the spring it's very dry, and we needed the water to drink, and we needed the water to float on because we were so weak at the time. We wanted to build a raft and float out during the night, and then but especially for drinking water.
I see. Were you able to take any equipment or provisions with you?
Yes. After we had broken out, I had a rifle, and I was able to get a hold of a machete, and I had a little rice, but that was about it.
Where did you get the rifle?
When we initiated escape, I was able to crawl out the hut and get in one of the guards' hut and steal their rifle.
Mm. Did you have an actual plan in advance that you could put into practice once you escaped?
Yes, sir. You mean after the...
Yes.
Yes, we had plans as far as travel goes. We also planned to separate in the smaller groups because it would be easier to find food for 2 people than for 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And also, if you would build a raft, it would be easier for 2 men to float on the raft.
I have been told that you escaped recapture practically every day. How in that situation did you finally manage to attract one of our planes?
After I had lost my friend, I was able to burn down an abandoned village, and all this fire and light attracted some aircraft, and they flew over and they dropped some parachute flares. Mm-hmm. And in the morning I found a parachute and I stuck them in my shirt, and I got away for 6 more days while the Viet Congs were all around. And then I wasn't able to travel anymore, and I laid on a rock for a day, and then I heard an aircraft, and I was able to wave once with it, and it was seen from the air, and he turned once around, and it was reported that I was trying to lay out an SOS, and he saw this, and then the helicopter came in and I was picked up.
And how long did this take in all? How long after you escaped were you picked up?
This was 22 days.
Do you mind if I ask what your normal weight is?
158.
And how much did you weigh when you were picked up?
Weigh 93.
Well, Lieutenant, I know that everyone in our audience and watching around the country greatly admires your courage and your stamina and your will to live. We agree, incidentally, with the Von Steuben Day Committee, which has just honored the lieutenant as their Man of the Year. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a minute with another secret for our panel to guess after you watch this.